Good day, Mr. Bjerregaard. I'm a member of International Federation of Journalists, and I'm approaching you in the same building in Brussels. I'm approaching you because you gave a very good statement about the situation in Serbia, which is the worst ever since I know. I'm 67 years old. I'm a member of your association for a long time. I live in the States and Germany as well. And I remember Yugoslavia, foreign Yugoslavia during the Tito and everything else, but never in our history. The freedom of media and everything was so, we're living in the dark. We're living like in the ghetto. This has never happened like this. And I would like to present you with some facts that you will be able to understand. First, we have now dictatorship, like in Germany during the Hitler time. Everything looks like they mined Serbia like time of Hitler in the 30s. It's not a time, my estimation will be very correct, and if you will be able to meet. There is one gentleman who is, as we speak, he's in Amsterdam, and he will be coming to meet with you, and his name is George Shekuna. That's him. He's a young man. He's a lawyer by profession. People are running away. Whoever speaks anything against our lawyer, against our dictator, whose name is Aleksandar Vučić, he's immediately, they send him a death squad, or break him a car, or beat him to death, or do everything, and nobody. He is who is Aleksandar Vučić? This is a phenomena of the history. He was. At the time of Mr. Milosevic, he was Milosevic's right hand. He was a member of Radical Party of Vojislav Šešelj, and he was even 3 times worse than Vojislav Šešelj, meaning his speeches, he was a spinner of the war. He was spinning the war in the 90s. His speeches was like, for one single Serbs will kill 100 Muslims and anything else. And you'll be amazed what kind of switch in this people's mind happened. He's all of a sudden, after being absolutely not right wing, but being total fascist, he's now big Democrats and everything else. What is very important, how this man came to the power. Namely, he was at the time of Milosevic, he was a minister for information. What he was doing, he was accusing journalists, and they've been paying for one word against the leader of Serbia. They've been paying, you believe it, 300,000 D-marks at a time, or euros. I sent you material, I sent you photographs and everything else. He was accusing my very good friend Churuvia, and he said, he is going to pay me, in an article, he's going to pay me for everything that he wrote about me. Shuri was shot and killed. I went to meet with him. I got information he will be killed. I went to City Hall and I warned him, but he didn't trust, he didn't believe it. And then I couldn't help him longer. So this man is responsible for that. Not only for that, he's responsible for going of hundreds of thousands of people from Croatia going to away from Serbia, together with Šešelj. And now all of a sudden, he and another foreign minister of Serbia, his name is Mr. Dačić, he was Milosevic's, also in Milosevic's party, #1 spinner, was speaking all the time some very strong words against the war and everything else. Now he became foreign minister. But who created him? Foreign Americans, obviously, especially William Bill Montgomery, who was a minister, who was ambassador to Serbia, ambassador to Bulgaria and everything else. So he was like, and they've chosen just those 2 people who were completely opposite now. Like you wouldn't believe it. These people are. This is nothing to compare. And now they're creating terror in this country. Whoever, just last month I wrote to the ambassador of America because they created him. There was a famous our minister, his name is Ilic, Mr. Vela Ilic. He didn't have, he has a dispute with Mr. He was together in the same group of parties with Mr. Vucic. He had some little dispute. He asked him to pay him 800,000 euros and to take him away from minister post. He refused it, and they struck his car. So he was with his son, and by luck, they found out that his car was broken. You have a lot of evidence, a lot of documents, and maybe I'll be making sure that you will be able to speak with Mr. Ilic what's happened. He is already ready to speak. Everybody is ready to speak now. Another thing has happened right as we speak now. Sasha Mirkovic. Sasha Mirkovic was insider, also like Mr. Vishekruna. He was also in the party of this big entrepreneur and person who was dealing with the music, and he's famous singer. Won the first prize in Eurovision contest, and he was a businessman before, and he became member of Mr. Vucic's party, but he noticed that they are stealing to absolutely amazing. They're stealing everybody, and then he left this party, and then obviously he had to pay the price. And by just leaving the party, they sent him a bomb to destroy his house in a place called Zajačar. And just he was in the United States, and he just came recently, and he was ready to have a press conference with Mr. Sandulovic, who is a leader of the party of Republican Party. And before the conference, they had been announcing the conference, and they simply arrested him. The man came without any warrant. They came, Secret Service came in his house, arrested him, and the man just went a month ago to hunger strike, and he even doesn't drink water because he was absolutely innocent. He was 2 years, nothing happened. He was not active in business. They found anything they want. Just if Mr. Vucic say, the immediately people get arrested. Corruption. This party, Mr. Björngard, came from zero. They opened a new party. Who paid the money for this party? Mr. Rockefeller and Trilateral Commission. They created this party from scratch. They didn't have a penny. They was a completely new party. So now this party has, let's say, 800,000 members. The other party had mostly 50,000, or 30,000. But this party is now with 800,000 members out of 7 million Serbian people living in Serbia. From zero, this is like amazing. When he has, when he's on television, he has 95% of airtime, and the rest of the people from the opposition, they have 5%. You will be able to find out when Mr. Vishekruna, who is absolutely perfect man for you to be as a speaker, and who will explain everything, how it's going there. I'm an economist by myself, and the way how he's treating economy, this is absolutely, the man never worked in his life. He was just a member of this fascistic party before, during Milosevic's time. And now what he's doing, he's giving to enterprises like mostly German enterprises. He's giving, let's say, you wouldn't believe it, government pays 20,000 euro per person. So, company that with the 300 workers times 20,000, could you imagine the company, let's say like Bosch, he got from Mr. Vucic directly this kind of money. He's deciding everything. He's like an absolute dictator. Everything is on him. There's nobody else has a word. He's everything. And this kind of economy destroyed. He got in recent time over $20 billion he took from the monetary fund, from MMF. And obviously he's like so-called famous book from The Economic Hitman. He's a typical economic hitman. He works with the MMF, and he's also probably the man from like original author of the Economic Hitman. He's a member of World Bank, and he is borrowing money. And could you imagine, he borrowed more money than all other people from Tito's era till today. He himself, in a period of 4 years, we are so, we'll be bankrupt 100%. You imagine now just Mr. President of the United States, Mr. Trump, he just banned the NAFTA trade because American companies went to Mexico. They pay people like in Serbia $200 a month or $300 a month, but they invested the money in Mexico and built these factories. But you see, in Serbia, we are so poor, and we are from our money giving to Bosch, the biggest enterprise in the world, money to employ our people. But these people, the money will be given to our people, will tremendously develop our agriculture and everything else, nothing else. Our economy is totally destroyed just because of this new era and this new fascism that came out here. More people, they're also member of the organization, will be able to speak. They have no chance to say a word to the media. They are simply completely banned from any kind of. He has all television belongs to him. He's all 24 hours on television. He's like, you open television, he's there. You open a refrigerator, he's there. Or wash machine. Man is lunatic. He has to be all the time on television. 90% of time that you're watching is him. He has a press conference here and there, and he's so rude. He speaks extremely badly to everybody in the press conference. What do you want? What do you mean? Want to say? This is like never ever happened that somebody in I believe in humankind in Europe or in the United States or in Belgium, that somebody with such altitude came to the power, and that's Mr. Aleksandar Vučić, who is absolutely person who is now the leader, and Serbia is looking like Nazi Germany in territory. Now he became an extremely good friend with Mrs. Merkel, and he's saying what Mr. Merkel said, I'm accepting. Whatever German said, I'm accepting. He's now absolutely working with Germany. Germany is his idol, everything Mrs. Merkel said, and of course, the economy of Serbia is absolutely in the worst shape ever. How you can develop an economy when people are making 250,000 euros a month? They have to pay children, they have to pay scholarship, they have to pay books, they have to go to holiday, they have to pay electricity. Everything costs the same thing like in your country. But people are making, could you imagine, 200,000 to 300,000 euros a month. We are the lowest payment in history. But he is also a pathological liar. He's most probably the experiment. He said, no, you have $500, €500 a month. No, everybody is making money when they get the money. They have 200,000, 200 euros a month. And he speaks with such a big word, with such big lies. Mr. Vishekuna, I have a lot of examples here. He's a lot of pictures with him, and he's number one on the hit list, and he's running away. They've been trying to arrest him. Now he's in Warren. For example, he brings some tourists who speak German. And he brings them to some space in Novi Sad. He said, now you see, gentlemen, in this particular place, we're going to build a factory for 4,000 people. And the German tourists said, yeah, you're a tourist, everybody does more. A man is just a tourist. Everything is on the national television. And obviously nothing happened. But he is promising he will bring from money from Emirates. He built the biggest lie in the history of Belgrade in the water. That Arab will put a lot of money. They're not bringing money, they're just laundering the money for mafia. There's mafia in Serbia and mafia in Montenegro. The drug mafia. He's also, I'll be able to testify because that's my expertise. I'm an expert in drugs. And my films, I'll send you some of my films to have a look. It's about the money laundering, about drug trafficking. Montenegro is the biggest hub for mafia, for trading with people, for drug trafficking and everything else. And President Djukanovic, his best friend, he paid money for the beginning of his party as well, except the Rockefellers. And this is something what you have to see. But we're speaking now about the freedom, media freedom. This is nothing to compare. And so this is just a short version of what I have to say. Mr. Vishekuna would like to make an appointment. He is now working in some factory in Brussels, in Amsterdam, and he would like to come, if possible, during the weekend. He asked me to ask you if he'll be able to visit your company, visit your office during the weekend time to have a big interview, and he'll bring you his book, which I have here, is about his experience with the President, Mr. Alexander Vučić, who also tried to rape him. He's a the man is absolutely has to be very observed by the people in the world, because he's from many aspects of the life. Serbia is on the worst, and you just gave a right title. Serbia is the worst in Europe, in the world, by freedom of media. We have no space to say. There is also one American company, American former CIA director. He opened a station, but he had no international frequency. And interestingly enough, this station is not international in all stations. He is just a very poor connection to some cities and some cables television. This number 8N1 is called. This is the only station that we are listening that we can see the truth. So we can see the corruption. And this man has said, this is a CIA station. He's speaking with the American ambassador he doesn't care about him. He's people who are also working with him in the media. They call him ambassador. His name is Mr. Scott. They call him he's an idiot, and he's balancing between Russian and Serbs and America. He'd like to go to NATO. No, he's going to Russia. So he's working on this balance. So everybody has to be around him, because maybe he'll jump in another group of people. So he's using this to blackmail everybody, and that's why. Mr. Bjerregaard, you will have a good possibility to know, and I'm opening you this story, and you'll be able to get the best speaker, the best examples, and you should have also somebody who will translate you from our language to your language. You will be amazed, because we are ghetto, we are media ghetto, and that's why we'll be very grateful to you if you come to this country to investigate by yourself. Because our people are running away from. There's another group of people, another party called Dveri, young people who are just having very brave statement in parliament. They're not able to speak in the parliament, but they start speaking in the parliament about corruption. the speaker just stopped them. So at 10 times on day, if they start speaking about drug trafficking, everything else, he got 20 days penalty not to enter the parliament. So this is not to be believed, and I'll be able to give you all examples, and I wish you that you will come to here, you will have the best story on the world. Also, this big example here, there's one phenomenon, I'm very ashamed to be a Serb, that they're stealing babies in our hospitals. Could you imagine, you come with your wife, or your son come with his wife, and he come to get the birth, and they're just working 3-4 days. They're looking at the babies, and the 5th day they said, "Your baby is no longer here." Why is baby now? I don't know. And you're not able to. Simply they sell your baby. Tens of thousands of baby get sold to the other people. I give you some examples. Some people that you should speak to just come forward. But you see, these people are. Because this is such a mafia business. The doctors, the nurses, they're all working together. The main place in Belgrade, when all women came to give birth, simply they're stealing babies. You have a lot of, they open their own association how to find the children. And twins, we have twins, one is, most of the time they're gone. So please, Mr. Bjerregaard, you give us a great favor if you come to Serbia to investigate that, because Serbia is the worst the worst country, the worst than ever, and this is something that has to be investigated. Thank you very much, and I'll bring you Mr. Vishekun, and I will call you, get in touch with you, and he will be best speaker for that respect. Thank you very much, and we hope to see us. I'll be also ready to give you anything that you want.